So starting lying down, you might begin with the knees bent. Just close the eyes and start to draw your awareness inwards. Tuning out not only the external world, but the rest of your day. You can just notice the sounds in your space, the sounds in your room. Notice the temperature in the room, the texture of your mat, and all of the points of contact of your body with the mat. So you can feel the heels grounding, the tailbone sinking down, the backs of the shoulders releasing down. Notice the weight of your head. Soften the cranial bones. Relax the jaw. And begin to invoke some deep breathing. You can find your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. On your inhale, send the breath as low downwards into the belly as you can. Exhale, feel the navel releasing towards the earth. Inhale and press the back ribs downwards into the mat. Exhale and feel the front ribs softening down. Long, smooth, deep, and even inhalation. And at that top of the inhale, take a 1 second pause. And exhale fully. At the very end of your exhale, take a 1 second pause. Then allow the breath to find a slightly more natural rhythm. So you won't breathe quite that deeply through the duration of the class, a little more efficiently, but still looking to find a deeper breath than what you normally practice in the course of a day. Walk your left foot straight out on the mat and take the right knee into the chest. Interlace your hands around the shin or the knee or even behind the thigh, whichever enables you to keep the back of the head and backs of the shoulders on the mat. Press forward with your left heel. And as you inhale, gently press the knee into the hands. Exhale and squeeze the thigh in a little bit closer. So working with repetition. Inhale, press the knee forward into the hands. Exhale and squeeze the thigh in closer. Inhale, press the knee into your hands. Exhale, squeeze the thigh in closer and hold here. Maybe coming in a little bit closer yet. And if you feel a bit of sensation top of the right thigh and through the hip flexors, you are compressing that muscle, which is actually a good thing in this pose because it helps to allow the muscle to release. Now interlace your hands behind the thigh, sole of the foot to the sky. And just straighten out the leg as much as you can. Inhale and bend the knee without rocking the torso through these movements. Exhale, straighten the leg, press through the heel, pull the toes towards your nose. Inhale, bend the knee, point your toes. Press your heel to the sky, pull the toes towards your nose. Hamstrings. Maybe come a little bit deeper into that stretch. Bend the knee, point the toes down. Extend the leg, keep drawing it in a little bit closer towards you. Then last one here, bend the knee, point the toes, and extend the leg. Point the toes towards the sky and rotate the ankle a couple of times in both directions. Then rebend the knee. Interlace your hands around the shin if you can with the back of the head down. Anchor the pelvis to the floor. This is actually a core exercise, and make tiny circles on the ceiling with your knee. So if you've done this with me before, we've made fairly great big circles moving through that whole hip joint, but this is more of a core focus. So stabilize the pelvis, keep the back of the left hip down, really squeeze the right leg in close to you so the arms are firm and steady, and change the direction. So again, not rocking from side to side, a nice, still, steady, solid torso using your core. Feel the lower back drawing down, or the lower back lengthening out, tailbone towards the heels. Bring this into your first spinal twist. Stretch the right arm out to the side. Use the left hand. Guide the knee over to the left. Take your gaze either to the ceiling or along the right arm. Bend the right elbow. Palm to the sky. And try to feel the release of that right shoulder down towards the earth. Rock back to center. Press into your right foot. Shift your hips over to the left. Bring the left leg into the chest. Walk the right leg out on the mat. Press forward with the heel. Strong, active right leg. When you squeeze the left knee in, try to visualize your outer left hip sliding forward. Same direction as the tailbone is going. So outer left hip sliding forward, pulling the thigh in towards you. Inhale, press the knee into your hands. Exhale, squeeze the leg in nice and close. Using the strength of your arms. Inhale, push the knee into your hands. Exhale, draw the leg in closer without shrugging the shoulders. Inhale, press the knee forward. Exhale, squeeze it back in. Last time, inhale. Exhale, pull the thigh in and hold. Send the tailbone forward. Send that outer left hip forward. Press the thigh downwards into the chest. Maybe feel that compression top of the thigh. And then interlace your hands behind the thigh. Bend the knee. Point your toes. Sole of the foot to the sky. Press your heel to the ceiling. Bend the knee. Point the toes. Steady torso. Extend your leg. Toes to your nose. Heel to the sky. And again, bend the knee. Point the toes. Extend the leg. Toes to your nose. Heel to the sky. And last one. Bend and extend. As you hold here, maybe moving into a slightly deeper hamstring stretch. So draw the leg in. Point the toes. Rotate the ankle in both directions. And rebend the knee. Interlace your hands around the shin. This should not be really easy. It takes some mental focus as well. So little circles on the ceiling with your knee. Tiny, tiny circles. So stabilizing through the pelvis. Keep your lower back releasing towards the floor. Send the tailbone towards the heel. So you go as slow as you need to feel this in your core. Change the direction. And move into your spinal twist over to the right side. Stretch the left arm out, turn the palm to face up, bend your left elbow. Bring the gaze either to the ceiling or along that left arm. And rock back to center. Push into your left foot, shift your hips slightly right, bring both legs into the chest, wrap the arms around the legs, push your low back into the floor, squeeze the knees in towards you, send the tailbone forward. Right arm reaches up overhead, rock over onto your right side, press into the left hand, lift yourself up, and turn to face forward. So you'll come to a cross-legged position, but then slide the shins as far forward as you can towards the top edge of the mat. So kind of walk the feet forward, keep them tightly crossed inwards, but rather than having the legs in like so, you've got the shins as far forward as you can manage. And then just walk the torso forward over the legs. Once you come to that first stretch, as far as you can go the first time around, take an inhale, lift up out of the pelvis, scoop the heart forward, exhale, lengthen further forward. Maybe walk the fingertips a little bit further forward. Then with an inhale, lift just slightly, draw the chest forward, scoop the heart forward, exhale, release the torso down a little bit further. Pause here and breathe. Now imagine that I have my hand on your lower back. As you inhale, send the breath all the way downwards to press against my hand. So taking the breath as low as you can go. Now walk your way back up through center. Take the fingertips in behind you, rotate your torso to face left. Then walk the left arm forward, pressing your fingertips into the floor, drag the torso further forward over the right thigh. Soften the outer left shoulder down. Keep the hips moving back towards the floor. Walk back up through center. Tent the fingertips behind you. Rotate to face the left leg. Stretch your right arm forward. Hook your fingerprints into the floor. Drag the torso as far towards the side as you can. Soften your outer right shoulder down. And then walk back up through center. Turn to face forward. Whichever shin is crossed in front, switch it up so the other shin is crossed in front. Again, a nice tight crossing of the legs, but you're walking the shins as far forward as you can. Take an inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Now, if you've got any low back issues, I'd suggest sort of skipping this. You don't want to add the extra load of your arms, but if not, exhale and fold forward. Keep stretching forward and forward, hinge from the hip crease. So you're sliding the hips back, lower down onto the fingertips, reach the crown of the head towards the thumbs, and inch as far forward as you can. Once you find that first stretch, take an inhale, lift and lengthen the spine as though drawing the spine out of the pelvis. Exhale and melt back down. And walk your way right up through center. Turn to face your right leg. Take the left hand onto the right knee. Sit tall as you breathe in. Exhale, tug against the knee to rotate the torso around. Inhale back through center. Left fingertips come behind, right hand, left knee. Gently twist. Unwind back to center. Swing the legs to the side. Come onto your hands and knees. Spread out the fingers. Extend your right leg. So kind of stretching that out a little bit. Press through the right heel. Bend the right knee. Extend your left leg. Push back through the left heel. And bend the left knee and move through cat-cow. This time, rotate the fingers to point towards the side wall. Press the thumb pads into the mat and the heel of the hand. As you inhale, draw the gaze forward. Exhale, round, scoop your tailbone under. Inhale, draw the gaze forward, chest forward, creases of the elbows forward. Exhale and round. Seal the inner hands into the mat. Inhale, last time, arching. Exhale, round, pull the belly in. Back to center, rotate the hands to face forward and lift up half downward facing dog. The knees come up, press back towards the thighs. So just your half downward dog, which is downward facing dog with knees bent. Press your fingerprints into the floor to prevent you from sliding. And just straighten out your right leg. Reach the heel towards the mat and breathe into the right calf muscle. Bend both knees, half downward facing dog. Slide the hips back towards the heels. Keep your fingerprints pressing downwards into the mat. Inner edges of the hands sealed downwards into the floor to the best of your ability. And straighten out your left leg. Breathe into the left calf muscle. Bend both knees. And straighten out both legs. If you feel like pedaling the heels a little bit, bringing some rotation into the pelvis, go ahead and do that. Eventually settle into your downward facing dog, full downward dog, legs straight, heels softening towards the mat. Press your thighs back. And now a subtle cue here is, without letting the feet move, attempt to drag the heels towards the outer sides of the mat. And see if you can feel that in the upper outer thighs. So we're attempting to abduct the hip. So drag the heels towards the outer sides of the mat without actually moving them. Then walk your hands to your feet. Fold over the legs. Soften the knees, release the spine fully, and take opposite hand to elbow. Bring the gaze between the knees, so lengthen through the neck fully. Shift forward and back, soles of the feet. And come to center, change the clasping of your arms, other hand on the bottom, and slowly straighten out your legs. Spread the weight evenly from heels to toes. Feel the mounds of the big toes dropping downwards into the mat. Release your hands to your low back. Root down through the feet. Inhale and rise up. Slide the hips forward. Find a baby back bend. Press the tailbone towards the space between your feet. And come to center. Interlace your hands behind you. Roll the shoulders back and down. Reach the knuckles of the hands towards the floor. Float the arms up without arching back to start. Draw the hips forward. Soften your front ribs back. So you're feeling this really only in the shoulders, definitely not in the low back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Soften the chin to the chest. And fold over the legs, floating the arms up. A little shift of the arms from side to side. And lower your hands to the mat and walk forward. Downward facing dog. Rise up high onto the balls of the feet, look forward, step to the top of the mat, lift halfway up when you get there, and fold over the legs. Pedal the heels, bend one knee and then the other. Come to neutral and round your way up through the spine, one vertebra at a time. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And reach your arms up overhead with an inhale, interlace the fingers, exhale and hinge over to the right. Now try to squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, inner knees towards each other, strong, active legs. Inhale through center and exhale over to the left. Draw the chin away from the chest, and with your lower hand, tug gently on the upper one. Come back to center and step your feet hip width distance. Fold over the legs as you exhale. Hands to the shins or on the floor. Take an inhale. Scoop the heart center forward like you're in a baby back bend. Exhale to a deeper forward fold. Press the inner feet into the mat. Inhale as you rise all the way up. Interlace your hands behind your head. Exhale and hinge to the right. Press your hips left. Inhale, center, and exhale, hinge left. Inhale back through center, exhale and fold over the legs, slide your hips back. Inhale, lift halfway up, lengthen, scoop the heart center forward. Exhale again to a deeper forward fold. Hands come to the low back, ground down through the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, a baby back bend. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. Return to neutral. Cross your left foot in front of the right. Squeeze the thighs together, fold forward over the legs. Slide the hands down the legs and press the inner edges of your feet downwards into the mat, the mounds of the big toes. Curl your way up, stacking the vertebrae. Uncross and recross the legs so the other foot is in front. Fold forward. Release the crown of the head towards the tops of the feet. Press your inner feet into the floor. Come back up through center. Uncross the feet. Come to the top of the mat. Inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Exhale and fold forward over the legs. Lift halfway up, breathe in. A deeper forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift again. And exhale, step the right foot all the way back. Soften your knee to the floor. Pad up the knee if you need to. Then take an inhale, draw the chest forward, lift up from the crown of the head. So feel that your left sitting bone is dropping down towards that left heel. Outer right hip slides forward, outer left hip slides back. You want to keep the left knee squeezing in towards the midline. So again, back to adductor muscle strength, inner thighs. Another inhale here. Exhale, pick the knee up and fold forward, crown of the head towards the top of the foot. Don't worry if that left leg is entirely straight. It's just as straight as it will go until you feel a nice hamstring stretch, back of the leg. Bend the knees, take the right knee all the way down, lift the heart center, pull the chest forward. Exhale, round forward over the front leg, crown of the head towards the top of the foot. Bend the knees, take an inhale, lift from the crown of the head, drop the hips down towards the floor. Knee comes up, exhale, and fold. Last time, knees bent, lift from the crown, heart center forward. Exhale, legs straight, crown of the head towards the top of the foot. Rebend into the knees. Take your right knee all the way down to the floor. Walk the right hand forward. Bring your left hand to your low back and slide the tailbone towards the back heel as you rotate to face left. Keep the left knee squeezing in towards the midline. So imagine that you've got a block between the upper thighs that you want to squeeze with the inner legs. Keep those adductor muscles really firing up. Come back to center. Take both hands to the inside of that front foot. Toe heel your left foot a little bit to the left. And start to walk your torso forward or even bend the elbows as you lower down towards forearms on the floor. And it doesn't matter if they get there or not. You could also rest your forearms on a yoga block. What matters is that you're feeling a stretch both top of the right thigh and also maybe in through that outer left hip. Now keep squeezing the left knee in towards that left shoulder, lengthening the spine, dropping the hips down nice and low. Hold for 3. Now walk your foot back through center, frame the foot with your hands. Press into the ball of the right foot and pick that knee up off the mat. Squeeze your right heel back. Bend the right knee to hover above the mat. Inhale, exhale, press the heel all the way back. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, press the heel back. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, squeeze back. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Finally, straighten out that left leg. Again, fold forward. Rebend into the knee. Step as many times as you need to come back up to the top of the mat. And fold over the legs. Take the awkward interlacing of your hands behind you. Float your arms up off your back. Reach the knuckles of the hands towards the sky. While you're doing this, attempt to drag the heels towards the outer sides of the mat, again, without actually doing so. Nod the head yes and no. And push into your feet with an inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, a baby back bend. Center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale and fold over the legs. Inhale, lift halfway up, scoop the heart center forward. Exhale and fold. Inhale, again, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step the left foot back. Soften your left knee to the floor. Pad up the knee if you need to. Rise up onto the fingertips. Lift your heart center. Drop the right sitting bone down towards the right heel so hips are sinking nice and low. Heart center is lifting up. If you wanted to, you could take the hands onto the front knee if that was more accessible. Or you could have a hand on a yoga block here, sort of raising the floor up. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, straighten out the legs. Crown of the head towards the top of the foot, straighten just as much as you can. Feel a stretch back of the right leg. Bend the knees, take an inhale, lift your heart center, lift from the crown, drop the hips down. Exhale and fold, crown of the head towards the top of the foot. Bend the knee, take an inhale, lift the chest. Exhale and fold forward, crown towards the top of the foot. Last time, inhale, lift your heart center. And exhale, slide the hips back. Bend the knees, take your left knee all the way down, walk your left hand forward, take your right hand to the low back, send the tailbone towards the back heel, rotate your torso to the right. Keep squeezing the right knee in towards the midline of the mat. Keep your left heel pointing up towards the sky. Send the tailbone down. Release your right hand inside of your right foot. Toe heel the right foot a little to the right. And maybe you're feeling a stretch in through the hip right here. You don't have to go any further. If you want to go a bit further, walk the arms forward, or again, maybe even start to bend the elbows. When you look at the right foot as much as possible, align the outer side of the foot with the outer edge of the mat and re-squeeze that knee in tight towards the shoulder. Hold and breathe. Now walk the hands in towards you. Frame the foot with your hands. Toe heel it back to center. Hover your left knee above the floor. Take an inhale, knee hovering. Exhale, press the heel back. Straighten it out just as much as you can. Inhale, bend the left knee. Exhale, straighten, squeeze your heel back. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, press back. Inhale. Exhale. Last one here. Breathe in. Press back. Straighten out the leg and fold. Deepen your right hip crease as you slide the outer right hip back. Then rebend into the knee. Step, step, top of the mat. Fold over the legs. Reach the arms to the sides. Inhale, rise all the way up. Take your hands down through your heart center. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Scoop the heart center forward. Exhale to a deeper forward fold. Step your way back to downward facing dog. As many steps as you need, and pedal out the heels, a little shift of the hips from side to side. Now from center, drop your left heel towards the floor. Pick your right leg up, three-legged dog. Don't lift the leg too high. Square your pelvis down towards the floor. Don't roll the right hip on top of the left one. Look down at your right foot or back towards the right foot. Toes point towards the floor. Push back through the right heel. So right heel pressing back, left heel softening down. Hold and breathe. And slide your right knee in behind your right wrist for pigeon pose. So knee is behind the right wrist. Angle your foot towards the left side of the mat. So knee to the right, foot moving left. Walk the left leg back. And maybe you're feeling a stretch here. If not so much, walk your way forward, maybe onto the forearms, or lowering all the way down, forehead to the floor. There's a tendency to sit on that right hip. Avoid that so you can feel the top of your left thigh softening down towards the mat. Actively slide the tailbone towards the back heel. Breathe into the top of the left thigh and outer right hip. We'll take 3 more breaths. And walk your way back up to an upright position. Turn your left toes under. Pick your left knee up off the mat. Walk back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels. Right heel reaches towards the floor. Inhale, float your left leg up, not too high. Think about squaring your pelvis down towards the mat. It's a lot easier to lift the leg higher actually and to rotate the pelvis towards the side wall. So We're not looking for the easy way out here. We want to find those areas that don't get as much attention. So look back towards your left toes, keep them pointing down towards the floor. That's the baby toe as well. Press back through the left heel, reach your right heel down towards the floor, hold and breathe. And slide the left knee in behind your left wrist, angle your foot to the right, walk that right leg back, either stay upright or walk your hands forward into a deeper stretch. Remember, you're softening the outer right thigh down and breathing into that left hip. So this is a good opportunity to train the mind to stay focused on the breath. Maybe you take some longer inhalations and exhalations here. Really allow them to deepen. Now walk your hands back in towards you. Turn your right toes under, pick your knee up off the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels. Rise up onto the toes, look forward, step to the top of the mat. Lift halfway up once you get there and fold on the exhale. Reach the arms to the sides, inhale, rise all the way up. Interlace your hands overhead, exhale, hinge over to the right, press your hips to the left. So squeeze the knees towards each other, squeeze your thighs towards each other, and press the inner heels into the floor. Inhale back up through center, exhale, hinge over to your left. Inhale up through center, take your hands to your hips, step to the top of the mat. Draw the right knee in towards your chest. Step the right foot back for warrior B. Plant the heel, outstretch the arms, square yourself off to the long edge of the mat. So the depth of that front knee, how deeply you bend the front knee will be a pretty key determinant of how hard you're going to work. Take a look at your left foot. Align the outer edge of the foot with the outer side of the mat. Lift up your left toes, press the mound of the big toe down, and then soften the toes themselves back down. Scoop your tailbone under. Now, when you look at your left heel, press it into the floor. Imagine dragging the heel towards the long edge of the mat that you're facing. Feel the inner thighs engage. And we'll add a little bit of flow here. Straighten the left leg, take the right hand down, reach left fingertips for the sky, slide the right hand down the back leg as you exhale. Inhale back up through center. Exhale, bend into the front knee. Maybe move a little bit deeper. Straighten out the front leg. Take the right hand down, left hand up. Slide the hand maybe a little bit further down the back of the leg and rise back up. Bend into the knee. Last time, straighten the leg. Left fingertips to the sky. Slide the right hand down. Back through center, your deepest bend on the exhale. Forearm comes to the thigh side, angle pose as you circle the right arm along the plane of the cheek. Stretch through the fingertips. And then we're adding a little flow here also. Take the right hand to your hip, straighten your left arm out, triangle pose, left leg straight. Right arm reaches up. Soften the chin away from the chest, pull the pelvis forward, attempt to squeeze that front heel towards the long edge of the mat. Bend into your left knee, forearm to the thigh, right arm along the plane of the cheek. Straighten out the leg, straighten out the arm, Trikonasana. Maybe you slide the hand a little bit further down the leg. Bend the knee, arm along the plane of the cheek. Last time, triangle pose, right arm reaches up. Left hand slides maybe a little bit further down. Push your feet into the mat. Inhale, rise up. Hands come to the hips. Turn your feet to face the long edge of the mat. Be a tiny bit pigeon-toed and just fold forward over the legs. This is your resting position. So you can take the fingertips onto the floor or a block or hold on to the legs. Soften the chin towards the chest. Lengthen out through the back of the neck. And release the hands back down. Turn to face the short edge of your mat, top of the mat, bending into the front knee. Step to the top of the mat and fold. Reach the arms to the sides. Inhale as you rise up. Hands come down through the heart center. Exhale and fold forward. Take an inhale, lift halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, a deeper forward fold. Slide the hands to the hips, root down through the feet, rise up. Take the left knee into the chest. This requires a little bit of focus here. As you gracefully step your left foot back, warrior B style, arms outstretched and bending into the front knee. So seal the outer edge of your left foot into the floor. Seal the inner edge of the right foot into the floor. Look down at the front heel, root down through the heel and squeeze it towards the long edge of the mat. Then pull the knee towards the baby toe. Inhale as you straighten out the leg. Drop the left hand down the back leg, right fingertips to the sky. Slide the left hand down the back leg. Inhale up through center, bend into the front knee. Maybe you find a bit of a deeper bend into the knee, but don't forget those principles. Heel squeezing towards the long edge, knee pulling back. Straighten out the leg, take your left hand down, right arm up, trace the ceiling with your fingertips. Back through center and bending into the front knee, maybe a little bit further. Straighten out the leg, left hand down, right arm up. Press your hips forward. This is our last one. Back up through center, bend into the knee. Slide the forearm to the thigh. Bring the left arm forward and along the plane of the cheek side angle. Pull the hips forward, hip bones up, and breathe. Bring the left hand to the hip. Straighten your right leg out, right arm out. Trikonasana. Reach the left arm back up. Bend into the knee, forearm to the thigh. Take the arm along the plane of your cheek. Side angle. Straighten the leg, straighten the arm. Maybe come into a bit of a deeper triangle pose, sliding the hand down in the direction of the ankle. Bend the knee, arm along the plane of the cheek. Your last round here, straighten out the leg. Left arm aligns with the right one. Push into your feet, take an inhale, and rise up. Hands come to the hips. Turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of the mat. And fold over the legs. Find your most restful variation of Prasarita Padottanasana. Maybe you want to take opposite hand to elbow. Soften the chin towards the chest. Release any tension in the neck. And lower the hands down. Turn to face the short edge of your mat. Have the front knee bent. Step forward to the top of the mat and fold forward over the legs. Reach to the sides. Take an inhale. Rise up. Exhale, hands down through the heart center. Fold forward. Lift halfway up. Lengthen. Breathe in. And step back. Downward dog. Take your knees to the floor. Bring the big toes to touch. Separate the knees wide apart. Sit back towards the heels as far as you can go. Then extend the hands as far forward as they will reach. The forehead moves down in the direction of the mat. Your forearms are off the floor. Elbows are off the floor. Elbows are straight and firm. Soften the outer shoulders, outer arms down towards the earth. Now walk your hands in towards you. Press into the hands, lift the head up. Bring your knees side by side. Swing your legs over to the right side. Bring them in front of you with knees bent. Plant the feet. Plant your hands in behind you. Drop both knees out over to the right. Soften your left knee towards the floor. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop them over to the left. Inhale, center. Drop them over to the right. And then turn to the right. Extend the left fingertips to the side. Do a nice gentle twist. Keep rotating right more and more with the rib cage. And turn to face forward. Bring the legs back up through center. Drop them over to the left. Walk the right hand all the way over to the left. And rotate the torso any amount from the rib cage, a gentle spinal twist. And return to face forward. Swing the legs back through center as you bring the soles of the feet together. Walk the hips back. Have the feet positioned in any way that will enable you to stay as upright as possible. We'll take a spinal twist from here. Left hand comes to the right knee, right fingertips behind you. Take an inhale, sit tall, exhale, gently twist. Inhale back through center and exhale in the other direction. Inhale back through center, plant your hands behind you, roll your shoulders down, push into the hands, lift your heart center, and return to neutral. Fold over the legs. And come back to center. Use your hands to guide the knees together. Have your yoga block available at the back of the mat. From the top of the mat, arms alongside of the body, soften your chin towards your chest and curl down one vertebra at a time. And once you come all the way down, take the block, slide it between your inner thighs. Step the heels in a little bit closer to the hips, so you might be able to graze the heels with your fingertips. That's one way of guessing how close the feet need to be, but really the knees will tell you whether or not you need to walk the heels in closer or further forward. So no tension in the knees. Now squeeze the block with the legs right up towards the inner knees. So not just the inner thighs, but the full length of the block. Send the tailbone towards your heels, press into the block, lift the hips up, bridge pose. You don't want to feel any tension in your lower back. Squeeze the block from upper thighs towards the inner knees and lift your outer hips towards the sky, while at the same time releasing the belly towards the earth. So outer structure of the body lifting, inner structure softening down. Press the backs of the shoulders down. Press into the mounds of the big toes. Hold for 3. And curl down. Take the block and slide it under your tailbone. If you don't like using the block, you can do all of these things without a block, so don't worry. Walk the soles of your feet together. Press the baby toe sides, the whole outer edges of the feet downwards and inwards towards each other, and release your knees towards the floor. So you have to position the block in a way that doesn't have your rib cage pressing up towards the ceiling. So you might have to adjust your shoulders or your hips in order to feel that you're really just getting a stretch in through the inner thigh muscles. The block is pressing your tailbone up towards the sky, not the lower back. And bring the knees back up to center and walk the right leg forward. You could point the toes so that you feel as though you're getting even more length along that whole front line of the leg. Feel the outer right hip sliding forward. So lengthening through the side waist, the side torso. Then walk the right foot in. Change sides, extend the left leg forward. Point the toes. Soften the rib cage down. Slide the outer left hip forward. And walk the left foot in. Push into your feet, lift the hips up, place the block to the side. Take your low back to the floor. Press your low back into the mat. Reach the arms out into a T shape. Press the hands downwards into the floor. Nice steady torso as you slowly take the legs over to the right. Just a gentle spinal twist to the right. Bring the legs back up through center. Drop them out over to your left. Strong, steady torso, pressing downwards into the hands and arms. Then back through center and take the legs into your chest. Steady torso, low back grounded. Start with tiny little circles. super tiny circles on the ceiling, small and controlled, feeling a connection with your core. And change the direction. Come to neutral, wrap your arms around your legs, squeeze the inner knees together. Press your low back into the floor, curl your forehead up towards the knees and the knees towards the forehead. Release all the way down. Bring your feet to the floor. Take anything that you need to feel comfortable for your final relaxation. Walk the feet forward. Separate them hip width or even mat width distance apart and allow the feet to drop out to the sides away from each other. Take the upper eyelid to the lower eyelid and bring the gaze down towards the heart center. It's more of an internal gaze because the eyes are closed. And soften all of the tiny muscles around the eyes. Soften and relax the inner thighs. The upper thighs. And the outer hips. Soften and relax the lower back, the abdominal organs, your heart center. Feel the backs of your shoulders on the earth, the weight of the head, an expressionless face, softening all of the muscles of the face and the jaw. We'll take 12 breaths here, soaking up the benefits of the practice. Bring your awareness to your breath and start to breathe more deeply. Awaken the body, wiggle the fingers and the toes. Rotate the wrists and ankles. Inhale through the nose, extend the arms overhead, lengthen the spine, point the toes. And through the mouth, exhale. Bring your knees to your chest. Rock and roll forward and back and side to side. Find your way back to a seated, cross-legged position with the eyes closed and the hands together at the heart center. And sealing the practice with the sound of Om, we take a conscious breath in. Namaste.